Moving on, to understand the importance of the policy from an experiential side, we have the next panel from our Wage Indicator team to share their opinions on the policy and their past experiences. The moderator for this panel will be Hien. Over to you, Hien.
Thank you, and many thanks and welcome to the Sharing Experience panel. We are honored to have with us today Paulien, Director of WageIndicator Foundation, Jane Masta, our labor expert from Kenya, Nadia, Project Manager at WageIndicator in Indonesia, Rana Medhat, Coordinator and Researcher on the Cost of Living Surveys in Egypt team, and Fifi, Junior Project Coordinator from WageIndicator in Indonesia, Gaimu. Great to have you here with us. My first question going to Rana. At the WageIndicator, we work mostly in a global workspace, in a virtual workspace, and colleagues from all over parts of the world. When bullying and harassment at work still need to draw attention, or it is less important than in physical workspace? Could you share with us your experience, please?
Okay, thank you all. Thank you for the invitation, and thank you, Paulien and the team. So let's start my speech with, since the start of the pandemic, employees have felt as if online environment are a wild west, where additional rules do not apply. This is a statement that has been said by Jennifer Brown, a diversity, equity, and inclusion expert, when she was discussing the potential risks of harassment and bullying in the virtual workplaces in the post-world of COVID-19. So during the time of COVID-19 pandemic, many employers found themselves enforced to shift to physical offices instead of the virtual workplace. To shift to virtual workforces instead of the physical offices, and they had to do that in a very short time. So businesses and staff as well had to deal with such raft of new issues, the challenges and technology, including issues on data security and confidentiality, of course. So the problem here is that we don't know what classifies the virtual workplaces. We don't know what is harassment on Zoom. We cannot identify how harassment could be done in a meeting. So it's even more confusing for us, and we need guidance from an expert who can tell us what to do. We might think in our minds that because in-person interactions are non-existent in this remote work area, so there are no opportunities for such types of behaviors that might constitute bullying or violations. But in reality, I have to say that remote work brings the office online, and when it does, it brings all the realities with it, including bad behaviors and harassment as well. So indeed, yes, we still need to draw our attention to bullying and harassment, and it's the same importance as physical workplaces. So they are serious issues that they could get worse as organizations continue to adopt remote working models. And in our case of WageIndicator Foundation, as we have colleagues from all over the world, it's important for all the team members to be fully aware of the challenges and potential risks that they might face and put steps in place in order to support that in the way that would be the best for that. So we should be proactive in managing and responding to bullying and virtual harassment issues, including cyberbullying, which could be simply from posting offensive comments on social media sites or posting private and personal details about someone online. Can be also micromanaging of an employee or extensive monitoring of an employee while working from home. As digital and virtual harassment might include many forms, such as unaccepted communications through messaging apps, inappropriate comments, images sent through email, chats, text messages, sexual or discriminatory comments during our meetings on Zoom or any other application. And in order to face such kind of forms, I think employers should review the policies of anti-bullying and harassment, should inform the employees about the standards and the code of conduct in remote working environment. Also, we should encourage employees to immediately report any inappropriate conduct if they are on the site. And once we receive the complaint, employer should investigate it and handle it. So thank you so much.
Many thanks, Rana. Yes, that's a great experience. And so the answer is yes. And so you also propose a lot of idea how do we implement it in the workspace and how we notice it. Thank you. And to our audience, if you have any question, please put on the chat. We can come back to you. And we will go to Fifi now. She's working more on the physical workspace. Could you give us some examples of intercultural context that might lead to misunderstanding or harassment at the workspace with or without awareness purpose that would need to be avoided? Or please share with us some stories that while doing field work or data collection, some challenges or some advantages.
Okay, thank you, Hien. Hi, everyone. Thank you for this opportunity. I'm Fitria Purnamawati, but usually called Vivi from Gajimu Indonesia. A little bit nervous here. Okay, based on my 3 years of experience working at WageIndicator, I'm happy to say I have never felt intimidated or harassed at any level. Well, at work, there may have been miscommunication or misunderstanding at work, but after a communication or two, everything is fine, everything is going okay. And I feel that communication is the key if we have colleagues from different cultures. Like, we should not hesitate to ask for help, to say thank you, or say sorry if we make a mistake, because communication is a gateway here. Like, for example, because now I'm currently work with WageIndicator communication team with Niels and Pashuda. Hello. There are often language barriers. Like, what is meant to be can be misinterpreted. So usually, if it's not clear, I will ask to them and vice versa. And I think I can say the people at WageIndicator work on the basic of mutual respect and understanding. And this is very good, especially for us who work in multicultural environment, where everyone may have different standards and very various ways. Also, when I working in DWC, how I say decent work check project in Indonesia, I work with interviewers who are also a union members. And according to them, the harassment and intimidation that happen in the factory environment did not happen because of cultural differences. Basically, most of them come from the same environment. Why? Because the problem is the lack of understanding about boundaries, form of harassment, and violence are not well explained to them. And this is why we always include a session on gender mainstreaming, gender-based violence in every training or workshop that we have, either with union members or interviewers or with trade union partners. Violence is often understood as part of work, but unfortunately not reported like an iceberg. And with WageIndicator having safeguarding policy, I hope that in the future, this can also be an example of safeguard that can be used by people in trade unions and union members for their members in the factories. Actually, power relation, as already explained very well in this WageIndicator safeguarding policy. And last, to develop this document, if I can suggest, and we propose to discuss about the scope of this policy, including member of the working family member from WageIndicator, where is they commit to not doing domestic violence.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Vivi. We will discuss about it more on the another part of the panel, and also during the during our webinar. Thank you for sharing. Yes, we come to Paulien now with some stories and experience, because you are the the policies are rooted from realities. And Paulien, have you why and how we our safeguarding policies are created?
Well, it's actually very simple. Because of all experiences over the last 40 years, I'm a super supporter of having this good policy at the moment. Really, thanks to Dee, by the way, because it's a lot of the ideas came from Dee, so we worked together to get it done. But thanks to Dee, but also don't forget Karen. Karen has been our expert over the years already, over let's say the last 15 years in guiding, this is how you do it. Well, I had only the expert as an international journalist and later as the director of WageIndicator. And that expertise, I mean, that experience was not always so funny. That when you're a woman working as a journalist, wherever you are, you have the feeling that it's more important that you can run fast than that you can write good. That was very often in the beginning my experience. So that's really not funny that you have to run for most important men because they want to chase you in the night. That's one thing during the WageIndicator period that I'm the director. Sometimes you come in places where you are with many other directors, all male, and they will show you that they only can talk with you if they have seen you in the night. All these experiences, I hope anyone of our team will never experience that. Because of that, I hope that this policy as we have it now, it truly helps to have a nice, proper way of doing as we all wanted and as we all usually do, because in WageIndicator, well, in general, the atmosphere is nice. Let's keep it like that. And because of that, we have such a good policy.
Thank you, Paulien. And we also have Jen with us to share her experience, how important it is to have a workplace atmosphere which is foster mutual respect, integrity, and also professional conduct and safety. Unfortunately, Jen will not be live with us today, but she has sent us a video about her experience. And Neil, could you please help me with her video?
Because they feel safe and secure. Good morning, good afternoon. My name is Jane from Nairobi, Kenya. How important is it to have a conducive workplace? One, people or workers will always be very productive because they feel safe and secure. In most cases, safe and secure employment leads to peace of mind and hence settled minds which foster productivity. It also reduces employee turnover since such workers will feel secure in employment. It also leads to higher level of retention of good brains in the organization. It enhances productivity, which can lead to improved welfare for all the workers. A conducive work environment enhances public accountability, and it's important for effective service delivery. It also leads to improved communication to staff among themselves, partnership, and teamwork. Workplace stress management or wellness programs, it leads to training and education, creation of a positive work culture, building trust, honesty, transparency, openness, confidentiality, accountability among staff. And there is also fairness and involvement of staff in decision making. The key elements for implementation of a safeguarding policy would be to include all workers, to make sure that all workers are included in the policy. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jane. We are now coming to Nadia. Thank you for waiting. Could you share with us the importance of managers and supervisors' roles, and how about the contribution to the safeguarding policy?
Okay. So thank you, Hien, and thank you, WageIndicator, for the opportunities. So as you may know, I work with WageIndicator for a long time already, and the last 5 years have been managing a quite big project in Indonesia. So I'm guessing that's the reason that Hien asked me about the question about manager roles in safeguarding. So I think managers' understanding of safeguard is one of the vital points to setting the standard for all of the wider team. I myself feel that I still need to improve a lot in this aspect. But thankfully, I'm also back with a great and lovely team who work in a way that prevent and also protect those around you, which makes the working environment more comfortable and also safer. The other things is that I'm also thankful that we have an expert in the team that has experience in handling violent cases. This has helped a lot in understanding the type of violence and harassment and how the importance of safeguarding the people we work with, the people we work for, and how can we do that exactly. During my years working with WageIndicator, fortunately, I haven't encountered issues or received any complaints within the organization in regards of bullying, violence, or harassment of some kind. But I do see that there are other organizations here within Indonesia that have the consequences because there are cases like sexual harassment cases, violent cases within their organization. And for that, I'm really thankful that WageIndicator has created a policy, a proper guideline and report handling mechanism for us. So we could prepare and also prevent and prepare ways on how to mitigate if the issues is ever happen in the future. Oh, knock on wood, by the way. And for contribution, I personally don't know whether I contribute a lot to a safe working environment. That's the question for the other team members, I guess. But in regards to doing the project activities in Indonesia, we always include a session in gender mainstreaming and gender-based violence at the workplace in every training that we have. So that is also including the training of our interviewers who work in the field on behalf of WageIndicator. So yeah, building awareness are what we are currently done within the project in Indonesia.
Thank you very much, Nadia. One
Yeah.
last question as a conclusion to our panel. 3 words, please, to all panelists. 3 words, key elements for success of WageIndicator safeguarding policy when it comes to implementation. Starting from Nadia, please.
Sorry, I say this quite a lot. I think understanding, and then policy and practice implementation.
Perfect. Thank you. Fifi, please.
Open-minded, adaptation, and progressive.
Wonderful. Thank you. Rana, please.
So safe environment. It also include dedication, a feeling of safety, and finally it promotes respectful remote workplace.
That's 4 words, but very important. Thank you. And Paulien. So last words, yeah, for our panel. Yeah.
It should not be in the drawer, but it should be at the table ongoing.
That's perfect. Thank you, and thank you very much for all the panelists to be to share the interesting stories and experience and comments also. And we most specifically it's a safe and happy team. And thank you all the audience for being with us. Back to you, Naga. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Hien, and everyone from the panel for enlightening us with your opinions and more importantly, sharing the importance of having a safeguarding policy.